Alright everyone, it's finally time to talk about this YouTubers Union thing. It's beginning to enter sort of the missing link media tech news sites a little bit for the first time, so it's obviously time to weigh in. I'd like to just take the opportunity to address it directly. I generally oppose this action, which might surprise some of you. I'm going to tell you why. There are caveats and exceptions to this. I'm going to tell you why. Number one is quite simple. The road to hell is paved with good intentions. My worry is that a collective action, especially associated with a group, a union metalworking group, I believe, in Germany of all places, is not going to represent my best interests. Here's why. Here's the long and short of it. Here's my problem. In a vacuum, the idea of a group of creators coming together to circle the wagons and argue against censorship, that's great. In fact, I've suggested that openly. But collectively bargaining, getting a centralized group to enter into semi-official negotiations with Google itself is a bad idea. The problem is this. When a decision is made in a corporation or union or whatever, which represents more than one person or thing, inevitably a decision that you make will favor one group over another. That's what will happen. YouTube is now so large, its organic growth at some point has to end because it'll run out of people that it's capable of entering into the platform for the first time. At that point, the only way for anyone to grow as far as their time usage is to take it from somebody else. What YouTube has done is stack the deck in favor of priority creators, the corporate creators, the TV crowd, the Will Smiths, the Katy Perrys, CNN and Fox, and creators that have been there for 10 years and already have millions of people. It's stacked the deck against new growth, which I think is a mistake. I think it should be incentivizing people to compete as much as possible. Even if it strains the availability of additional time usage to be used on the platform. The problem is that what's happening right now is that I've made my own suggestions for tackling tech censorship. I'll get into that in a second. This is an instance of a bunch of individuals shooting from the hip and again, the road to hell being paved with good intentions. The idea is great. Stop censorship. Wonderful. Get YouTube to disclose its algorithmic sort of bullshit. That's a wonderful idea. The problem is you're trying to empower a union to dick around with that instead of empowering yourself. We see this in government. We see some of the Republicans right now, especially within the U.S. government, saying, well, tech censorship is a big problem. We need to tackle this. Yes, you do. The problem is you've got idiots like Josh Hawley writing the bills, and they don't know what they're talking about. The SMART Act. Oh, we're going to tackle big tech problems by subjugating it directly to government control. Well, it's no better than having the corporation control things. The corporation's a monopoly because of government anyway, usually. California state law especially. So what the fuck is more government going to help? My problem is this. I can make my decisions. I can engineer my content, tag things, enter my descriptions, choose what to talk about. I can brand and market myself. I do not need other people's help. By the way, this group that's, saying it's going to represent all these YouTubers interested in it's giving Google an ultimatum. You respond by, August 20-something, or else we're going to do something. Yeah. That's going to be a little bit of a problem, and I keep trying to query Team YouTube on this. My channel's blocked in Germany. How are you going to be able to represent me? You can't even communicate directly with me half the time. So I don't understand the point. Ultimately, it is self-serving. YouTube is a platform built out of individuals who self-serve. They market their material. They're trying to compete for more subscribers, more time usage, more views, more resources. That's what the whole fucking platform is about. Why the hell would I want to be part of a union? It doesn't make any sense. The problem with the YouTubers union is that YouTube is inherently a completely cutthroat, competitive, capitalistic style platform. That's a good thing, by the way. What I've suggested, therefore, is very, very simple and sort of goes past the rigmarole of paperwork and shit like that. Groups of creators, especially those with fairly substantial audiences, we're talking the 10K and up club, basically, need to get together and form a non-aggression style pact. That is, they're not fucking around with each other. They defend one another. If one person gets banned out of the group, everyone else comes to their defense. That makes it very much quicker and more likely that they get restored, that they don't get abused. They share out one another's material, because what happened in old school YouTube, you put content there, people searched for things and found you. That was how you got new users to follow your material. That doesn't happen for the most part anymore. Unless you're a priority creator, you're buried under an avalanche of other people's shit that are. Will Smith and Katy Perry are ahead of you, even if they don't have anything related to the search term. So what's happened is it's become necessary to shout one another out. Like, commenting is also important. Some of the biggest growth you'll experience is when you comment on someone's material early and get pinned or something like that because it looks like an endorsement. It happened, like, I gained like 300-400 new subscribers after Tim Pool pinned one of my comments some weeks ago, and it's hilarious that that's the way that you need to act, essentially, to compete in the current YouTube environment, unless you're Will Smith or Katy Perry. Or Jimmy Kimmel or Taylor Swift or some other vapid fucking celebrity from yesteryear. Then you're fine. What I worry about is that a union couldn't possibly do this right. What I'm worried about is a union will say, well, disclose your algorithms, and Google will give them the runaround, eventually disclose some shit that won't even be useful because it can change its algorithmic manipulation at a whim anyway. And then the government's getting involved under antitrust. We don't need to apply antitrust laws. What you need to do is sit these people down and simply make it very clear, off the books. Don't even do it in a legalistic fashion first. You're putting the stick before the carrot. Talk to these people the way you would talk to any other business management and say, look, if you continue the current behavior, we will have to smack you in the cock. There will be nothing for it, but we smack you in the cock. We'd rather not rock the boat. Why are you rocking the boat? These sites worked well to begin with. There is no problem with extremism online. Cyberbullying was a boogeyman. Does anyone even talk about cyberbullying anymore? 10 years ago, cyberbullying. Oh my God, little Jimmy got insulted on the internet. Big thing, whole social movement. New rules were imposed. New everything was imposed. Government breathed down the neck of big tech. Said, well, you need to tackle this problem. It causes suicide. Does anyone talk about cyberbullying anymore? No. It's not because the same behaviors aren't there. People lost interest, and government got to amalgamate more power and money, and big tech got to breathe down the necks of its smaller competitors a little bit more, and then they called it a field day. By the way, another goal, support alt tech. If you are passionate about the concept of free speech, go to the places where speech is happening. If you're not following me on BitChute, you're not getting the full story. Because potentially tomorrow, a random algorithm, something gets tripped in a computer and I get banned off YouTube for 3 or 4 days before they restore me, you're not getting my shit on YouTube because I'm not there for that period of time. And for some people, they get banned permanently. The ban actually sticks. Another problem is that no one wants to defend them. I think another thing is fear. People are afraid to defend the free speech of others. They're afraid of getting called bigoted or a Nazi or something. Oh, I can't, I generally like free speech, but I can't defend this person because Salon says they're an extremist. No, fuck that. Yes, you can. Fuck what Salon says. I don't need a YouTubers union telling me what to think and what to say. Another thing is, let's say this. Let's say YouTubers union gets big, does manage to take hold, bargains with Google, negotiates with them. What about those of us who refuse to support it? Are we going to get the can? Well, we're not going to get defended, but I'm sure that they will negotiate to try to get larger creators that aren't part of their group kicked out too. Then you'll have to have an anti-union union or some shit, and this is how things end. This is how the internet gets fucked. More and more centrality. No. The internet was built by non-central systems, by someone with a private website, by a group that hosted things and didn't care what they were hosting if it wasn't illegal, by individuals making interesting content. As soon as Katy Perry and Will Smith made YouTube channels, I guess it was all over. So no, I don't support the YouTubers union. Good idea in principle, on paper, terrible follow-through, will not work probably anyway. Google's gonna laugh at this. None of the biggest creators have even signed on. Most of the larger creators that back such a thing are explicitly within one subgenre of YouTube, which is the current event politics sort of nexus, where I tend to be. Otherwise, a lot of people don't even know it exists, so how the hell is it going to collectively bargain? And they say, well, we'll make sure that the nation of Germany cracks down on YouTube. It already does. You can't even find my channel in Germany. I'm still trying to get Team YouTube to address the situation. They still haven't gotten back to me 4 days fucking later about specifically why that is since 2009 that Germans and people in France and Poland can't even subscribe to my channel. Considering the number of Germans and French people in the world, yeah, that's a fairly substantial holding back of my material growth. You'd probably gain an extra 100 subs a day if those people knew my channel existed. That's about all. Peace out.